a viewer to appear in the top right hand corner, as usual. So.
Let's see if I've got the notif now.
Oh, well, professionals already.
Yep, I've got it. Good
You've
to
got
go.
it? We are good. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to CRC LMP3. I swear these rounds are going absolutely quick as hell. Honestly, it's round 5 already. I can't believe it. Of course, I'm James Hay, going to be taking you through the stream, and as you might have heard, the lovely voice of the Welshman is joining me once alongside me again. It is, of course, Mr. Ash Richardson. Ash, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing today, James?
I'm doing really well, yeah. Qualifying has just started. Speeds to the first guy out on track. And H Racing Green not going to be attending tonight. He can't make it. He's at the pub. He's working at the pub, I may stress. He is not at the pub with his friends or anything like that, because the lockdown obviously has been eased here in the UK. But he is working, sadly. So the championship leader not here tonight, which is massive, I think, for both Darren, who's also here, and Speedster to try and catch up in the championship.
Yes, it is, and we have we've deployed 007 Professional to come back and take out Jake because Jake's head basically inflated to the size of a hot air balloon over the last weekend because he won 3 CRC races in a row, 1 IndyCar, 1 LMP3, and then the IndyCar after that, especially 2 in a row on the weekend. So, I mean, it was so large, they were having trouble fitting it in his room. So the ego was through the roof, off the charts, over into Narnia. So we've had to take radical measures in CRC to stop that from happening. Yeah,
and unfortunately, I think for Professional as well, I've just seen on the race feed he's got a 1-place grid penalty for pit lane violation. So that's the greatest start ever, I think, to a career in LMP3.
Who is this ex-champion? This defending champion, who is this guy?
He was complaining just before we came live, he was complaining on Discord that he couldn't handle the cars properly. I think that's been proven. He can't even get out the pit lane, never mind. Never mind get out on track. In the meantime, just coming around the final corner, he did, I think, go wide off the line and set a 140 quicker than what I set in a time trial that time. So, that's a very quick lap, though.
It is. But you're cutting, I don't know if it's just my end, but you're cutting out every now and again.
Oh.
Might just be me, I'm not sure. But hopefully someone comments, they can see whether that's them as well. Get this man off my screen. Who is this? This fraudulent LMP winner. No one turns up in LMP3, he wins, thinks he's everything. Unbelievable. But yeah, good time for Speedster, racing home 1.2 seconds off the pace. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, pretty usual. Saw that in the GT3s. That's nothing new. Xandar Racing. Let's have a look. Only 2 guys in the pits at the moment, so the track is really busy. 3 cars in a row in Sector 1. That's not going to help them. But lots of space on the back of the track now, where Xandar's coming up to. It's just 1 car ahead of him. Oh no, he's in the gravel. Oh, and he's lagged back. I know he was definitely in the gravel there, so he probably abort this lap and run another one. If he's got this space ahead, he might go again. But we're really seeing the battle, we've balanced the grid a little bit between Ligier and Ginetta now. On a single lap, the Ligier, I believe, is slightly faster, but over a race distance, it depends on your driving style. I'd say the Ginetta is more consistent. So that might play out as well, especially as H Racing Green isn't here, but Nissan is quite close. Oh, spun car there.
That's Alan round.
Oh, what a surprise.
Alan ran through the final corner. Yeah, he's had his lap time invalidated due to track limits, which is quite strange considering he's spun the wrong way around the final corner there.
Probably cut the chicane, but I mean, are we surprised, really?
Definitely.
But yeah, we'll see it play out. And H Racing Green and Nissan are probably the top guys in the Ligier at the moment. H Racing Green isn't here, as we've already covered. Nissan is still a top contender, and he looks like he's going to get a tow here down into the last corner. Is he on a lap?
Is that Andy, I think, ahead of him? It's either Andy or Darren, I think, might be ahead of him out on track. He is 3/10 up, just coming through the chicane here.
I think that's ILRT.
It is an ILRT. Oh, yeah, you might be right, actually. It is an ILRT driver, so my correction of driver is already going right here. It has been a very long week for me, with me starting my new job. Right. But Nissim, coming across the line, let's see what he can do. He doesn't improve. So he lost 4/10 in that final sector. And it's
I think he was... Yeah, he was very held up by the vet car there for the ILRT boys. Yeah, but the thing is, Flaky was on a lap himself, so he had no reason to move out of the way. And as soon as he finished his lap, he did move out of the way. So he's not done anything wrong there.
Yeah, he hasn't done it all. Professional being in the meantime coming around the final corner now. I'm going to try and pronounce some of the corner names tonight, by the way. So if I butcher the corner names around here, I'm going to try my best. I will try my best. Professional, by the way, across the line, 159 flat on his first lap. Inevitably, he will improve on that. And he is ahead of Darren Sinclair, who is also on a lap as well, the Scotsman. We have got Emmanuel and Zandamar both coming into the same section out on track through the final chicane. Remember, it's a different chicane to what they take in real life. They normally take the flatter chicane in real life. We're taking the old F1 school chicane, so it is going to be quite interesting to see. Zandamar and Emmanuel going to come across the line simultaneously. So Zandamar comes across the line, think he invalidated on his lap. In the meantime, just seeing where he's gone, Emmanuel. He's gone up to 7th, but Darren in behind actually goes 2nd with a 148 flat. 7.5 tenths off Speedster.
Yeah, that's a very, very good lap because Speedster's just got the way he can turn the car on in quali. He's very aggressive the way he manipulates it. And, he's got his setup tricks, but he really manages to put it together. He's able to just zone in and really put that time in. So seeing someone get within to 7 tenths so early in the session is quite impressive. It will be that last corner. Yeah, it is the GP circuit, so we should have some overtakes into that chicane, but it is tight, and these cars are very low, so you're going to struggle to take the curbs there. That's Bart running wide there. We are going to struggle to take any curve there unless you've jacked up the right height in preparation for that. We will see some drivers probably dive up the inside there, but we are seeing Emmanuel faster than last week, closer and racing at home much closer to sort of pace we're expecting. I know he got pole last week, but it was actually quite slow. I mean, he admitted himself that he wasn't actually pushing as hard as he needed to because the field was so low. But we're really seeing now these times come flying in. People are in the pits. They're putting on new sets of tyres and ready to go back out again. We're going to follow Bart here to the end of the lap. Where's he going to stack up?
Goes 5th.
Hey, that's a good lap. That's a good lap from Bart. He's really put some decent time in. I mean, he may be 2 seconds off, but he's. I think that's still a very good time.
It is a very good time. He's got Nissan behind him as well, so Nissan, one of our quicker drivers, inevitably will improve. But Bart at the minute currently in 5th. I'm just going to draw your attention to that guy there, that trolled racing at home. He's gone 2nd.
Disgusting.
With a 148 flat.
Oh, right, he's even beaten my team. Get him off, man. I don't want to see this.
And there is Sinclair just coming out of the pits as well, just mentioned about him. But we are halfway through qualifying. Speedster on top, rest of home 2nd, Sinclair in 3rd. Andy actually just going 4th there, just came across the line to go 4th. And we've got an LRT man now up into 5th, and that's Matter. But look how close it is actually between Andy and Matter. 8 thousandths of a second.
That's a very, very tight time, yeah. That's the thing, it's such a... This track's... You either make a massive mistake or you gain a very small amount. It's so difficult to get all of the corners right and get the whole lap together, and often you don't. But we will, I think, as we saw in Le Mans, Racing at Home has his own interpretive, his own intelligent, let's say, interpretations of track limits, especially pit lane entries. So I think we should stick on board with his lap at some point after when he starts G'ing back up to see if he just straight lines somewhere. Racing at Home. Just cuts the track whenever he fancies. So he's on a warm-up lap at the moment. Andy going up through the Schumacher S's, Racing Home coming through the 3rd sector now. Whether he can stay on track or not, I'm not sure. I don't know what he's doing. No, that's just
warm-up lap, he's
driving.
weaving his tyres.
Let's report that for violent weaving and driving, I think.
Let's not on board with Commenceless though. He's just about to come across the line. Commenceless on his debut here. If you're wondering who he is, he's of course my TTL or TTLF2 commentator back in the day, and also IndyCar driver. I think he's 2nd in the championship going into Sunday, this race coming up. But Commenceless making his debut here in LMP3 should be quite interesting to see how he gets on, to be honest. He's chosen the Ginetta, which is probably on 1 lap pace, probably slower than the Ligier, but Commenceless, I think, can get the best out of this car.
Yes, he's the closest runner to Racing at Home in IndyCar. He has already agreed that the championship's rigged there, and it's all spun in Racing at Home's way. So that's fine. Hopefully we'll see him do quite well here on his debuts. 2 cars, both debutants, let's say, in the series. Him and 007 are teammates this evening. So we'll see how that goes. But we've had a run of people sort of debuting and doing quite well, haven't we? I mean, Alan is the biggest example of that, where he's done one-off races and actually done quite well at them. I think it was a 4th place in Spain, and he did quite well in Le Mans as well. Yeah. So I think maybe it's just the rub of the green that they're getting as rookie drivers in the series, let's say. But we'll see how it all shakes out, because this is a notoriously difficult track to overtake. It's a high downforce circuit with high downforce cars, and a lot of the curves are quite slippery, they're quite high, so running around and taking off track lines is quite difficult, but I'm sure Racing at Home will find a way.
Gotta be honest though, Carmentos is looking very neat on this lap, to be honest, and it is a very short... It's a very short final sector here as well. Remember, the second sector normally in Formula 1, as he just butchers the chicane slightly, the normal second sector split in Formula 1 is actually just after the S section at the top of the hill. So when before they come downhill, it's about a 20-21 second final sector around here. Carmentos about to come across the line. He goes 14th. It looked quick on the eye, not that quick in terms of the lap times though.
He looked very tidy. It didn't look like he was overstepping at all. It looked really tidy, and he looked like he was well in control. But I guess he's not found the qualifying edge yet. I think over a race he will catch up a bit, because other people will spin, etc. But is Darren finishing a lap or starting one here? He's finishing one with 3.4 litres. Yeah,
I think he is. He's 7.5 tenths down on speeds this time. Where's he going to go? Is Sinclair going to improve here across the line? No, he doesn't. He must have made a mistake on that lap. Yeah, so he's going to really go for this one. Just to point out, by the way, 4th down to 10th, Nissim now in 4th, Andy down to 5th, but Nissim down to Emmanuel is separated by just over 5 tenths of a second.
Wow, that's a hell of a midfield battle, isn't it? That's incredible.
Really incredible. And to speak about as well, Chris and Emmanuel actually separated by 1/100th of a second, and Andy and Matta still separated by that 8,000th, and I think actually that might be Matta coming around the final corner now. He's about to come across the line. See what he can do. He doesn't improve, so Matta stays 6th. Professional, by the way, did go up to 11th ahead of Flaky. We are getting down to the nitty-gritty part of this session, though. Racing at Home and Speedster, by the way, I think have just came out on laps, and funny enough, they're together out on track. So I wonder if there's going to be a bit of inter-team rivalry / working going on here, perhaps.
It's qualifying Racing at Home. What are you doing? Andy makes a mistake. Oh, there we go. See? There we go. See, it's qualifying. See, serves you right. End up off the track, why not? And then Vic Speedster will probably slow down in a minute to back him up again. It's all gamesmanship, it's all psychological warfare. Where one driver's saying, I got faster times than you, the other guy going, well, I got a better step than you, well, I'm going to block you in quali, well, I'm going to chase you in quali. No, it's all this tip-for-tat that goes on. It's all part of the game. 007 proved to be quite good at that last season with the Crusher Bro, and they both went at it hammer and tong. But we'll see now. We'll see if Jay can refrain from cutting the track. I mean, I doubt it. Let's see this chicane. How legal is it?
To be honest, I think he's got to back off, yeah, because he's going to be running quite a lot of dirty air onto his lap, and I think that's going to cost him time rather than gain the time. He's going to be right up the backside. Oh, there he backs off.
What is he doing? I was going to say.
It's cost him speed through the final corner. I don't get it, to be honest. He could have just went flat out and then tried to ease it off. Probably the corner before, to be honest. Try and ease off on the speedster. He's going to get feigned slipstream running down the hill, down towards turn 1. But, to be honest, he's cost his lap, I think, before it's already begun, and he's just made a slight mistake into turn 1 there. Yeah, that looked a bit odd, didn't it? It looked like he kind of under-rotated the rears a little bit, and then sort of turned in twice or 3 times for the corner. I think he's spent so much time... Oh, that's a spin! Oh, round he goes! Slow and clap, out the session he goes, as well. Slow clap. Yeah, you're right, he's so focused on speeds there, but, he should have done that, but, you're forgetting he's not that skilled. So, he could have made that decision. He's not, not a quick thinker. So, but that's, if he was more focused on winding speeds up than actually improving his time. But he gave it a go. But he's still, well, I was going to say he's reasonably close, but 7 tenths is still a mile away. But it's that kind of circuit, right? You can push and push and push and only gain a little bit. But then you get one sector right, properly, all together, and you get a good lap. But we're just finishing the session now, waiting for everyone to finish their laps. What we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people. 7, I think, yeah. Yeah. Just seeing who's first out on track. I'm just trying to go on board with him. It's Carl Mentalist coming around the final corner. Let's see what he can do. He did improve on his lap, by the way. 150.9 was his lap. Let's see what he can do. Can he improve ahead of Professional? Yes, he does, by only a 10th of a second. So Commentalist goes 11th for now. Next up, I think, was Nissim, but he's into the pit. Andy is now coming around the final corner. There is a car just ahead of him as well. I think it might be Zandamar, if I'm not mistaken. But no improvement from the car ahead. Andy now around the final corner. Might have picked up a lap invalidated. No, he doesn't. He goes 4th with a 48.5. Nice lap there by Andy. Bart has finished. Zandamar is one of the next to come across the line. We've got Professional as well on a lap. And Speedster, I think, has not improved. So Speedster, Professional not improving. Professional not
Professional
improving.
skipped the chicane, and I think it's just Zandamar who's actually on a proper lap now.
Yep, Zandamar in the final corner. Let's see what he can do. 2.1 seconds off Speedster. Can he improve ahead of the lights? No. That is a simple answer, no.
That's a shame.
Speedster, though, out on top by nearly 7/10 of a second. Quite a dominant qualifying performance from the man in third position in the championship. Racing home in second. Sinclair, who was second in the championship coming into tonight, is in third. Andy starts fourth with Mata in fifth, Nissim in sixth, Chris Bell in seventh, Bart in eighth, Zandamar in ninth, Emmanuel in 10th. And again, fourth down to 10th, separated by 9/10 of a second. Very close between those guys out on track. And just to fill out the rest of the grade comments, there's Flaky, Professional, Alan and High Grade, rounding off the top 15, the 15 drivers that we have got out on track tonight. But Speedster really taking a dominant qualifying there, to be honest. Will he follow it up in the race?
If he can get away cleanly, I think he can dominate from the front. But racing at home is going to be absolutely lasered onto his back end. And Speedster doesn't have fantastic starts. So if racing at home will be very, very keen to throw it up the inside, and he's reckless as it is. So he's going to try and throw it up the inside and see if it sticks. But if he can get away cleanly, I think he can dominate with that kind of pace advantage. Now, interesting to see in the final sector, though, we're all sort of 18.1, 18.2, 18.3. So if he could stay close during the first lap, then at the end of the first lap with that third sector, he might be close enough to make a move down into turn 1 in the slipstream, being that close, because he doesn't look to have lost that much time in that final sector. Just set of sector 1 and 2, so 2/10 either way. So it will be touch and go. It depends how quickly Speedster gets up to speed, but I think that behind it's going to be an almighty battle for people to gain those positions, because it's just going to be absolute tit for tat all the way from third down to 9th, 10th, as you said.
Definitely. I think Speedster, Racing Home and Darren will be hoping for a very good start out on track. I'm just going to run through the field, see what everyone's fields are on. 85 litres for Speedster, 85 for Racing Home, 85 for Sinclair, 85 for Andy, 85 for Mata, 85 for Nissim, 50 for Chris Bell. This is what I was going through for, and we're about to start, so I haven't got time to go through the rest. Goodness me, I've been caught flat-footed, but we are about to go green here for the racing. Round 5 of the championship is underway, and Speedster gets a good start. Racing Home, I think, got a good launch as well. And actually, Andy has got a tremendous start. Has he jumped the start, perhaps, Andy? Certainly hasn't appeared in the race feed, but Andy could be leading down towards turn 1. There he is. Speedster on the outside line, Andy on the inside line. Down towards turn 1 we go. Sinclair and Racing Home, and Andy takes the lead of the race through turn 1. Fantastic stuff. Racing Home is ahead of Speedster as well. He was forced out wide slightly, and Racing Home now going around the outside through turn 2, and then in towards the first chicane through the Mercedes Arena section for the first time, and Andy leads. Speedster second. Racing Home just runs wide in third. Sinclair in fourth. Very good start by everyone, though, out on track. We'll see a few track extensions here, and that is Mata, I think, just going wide on Chris Bell. Chris Bell now trying to go around the outside. High Grade off the pace early on in behind. Chris is through to 6th. Mata down to 7th, but a very, very clean start. Probably one of the cleanest starts we've had all season, to be honest, as Zandamar tries to go all the way around the outside on Bart. Can he get the move done here? As the interval timings now come up, it's Andy by 6/10 of a second with a lightning start off the grid. Commenters trying to go around the outside here. Bart down on the inside line through Zandamar, got the move done. So Bart up to 8th, Zandamar down to 9th, Commenters down to 10th. It's all beginning to split apart between Mata and Bart, and these guys, oh, they're on wide. Bart is off, and there's contact there as well. There's contact in the foreground. I've shot Mata. It was Chris Bell, I think, that was caught up in an incident. So Chris is off, and there is someone else off. It's Bart. So Bart and Chris Bell both caught up in incidents there, both down to the back of the field, and actually Chris Bell has actually retired from the race. But back to the lead. Andy leads, Speedster second, Racing Home in third. Apart from that bit of contact, all clean.
Yeah, there's a little bit of lag contact, I think, in the field. I think 007 was off at the end of the first sector, start of the second sector. He was off cutting the grass. What else have I seen? I haven't seen much more than that. Yeah, it has been pretty clean, and these drivers realise that these cars are very, very fragile. And I think Bart has rear wing PTSD, so he just wants a race to keep his rear wing. That's all he wants. Andy's done a fantastic start, done a fantastic job, and I'd be shaking like a leaf right now, just leading the race. But he did it for a lot of the race in Algarve, so he is experiencing that. Speedster will be absolutely desperate to get back past. He will be fuming that he's had a poor start, fuming that he almost lost position to Racing at Home. the Racing Home made the mistake right here where he just locked the wheel, went wide, and Speedster was able to just take P2 and run away with it. Then it looks like, if anything, Darren is being held up by Racing at Home. I think Racing Home's going to try and save some fuel now while Speedster carries on and tries to chase down Andy, because the objective here is to try and finish without a pit stop, because it's going to be marginal for you. You can't drag the flat out the whole race without pitting. So some of these guys are going to try maybe short shift, maybe lift and coast at some point in the race when they feel they can without losing too much time to try and get to the end, because you can't drive flat out for the whole race. And that's why Chris Bell didn't have a full tank of fuel, because he's going to pit.
Speedster's got a penalty. Speedster's got already for Speedster.
Sector 1. Yeah, the end of sector 1, just turn forward. Yeah. He run wide there, and he's taking a penalty. So now he's going to push even harder to try and pass Andy and make that time up. What Andy's going to do is, I think if Speedster wants to come past, he's going to come past. So we'll see if Andy just plays the smart game and not lets him through, but doesn't hold it back too much. What's that? Is that Nissim who's losing the car?
No, Sinclair just making a mistake. Nissim was all over the back of him. Look at Matter as well. Matter's got the pace coming up the hill here, down towards the end of sector 2. There's the split just through sector 2, just before the straight. And Emmanuel's trying to go for a move on Commentalist as well. Whoa. Just in behind. Too wide into the chicane. Definitely does not go. And goodness me, how they got through there without any contact is beyond me. But the positions remain the same as now. But Speedster, look at him, on the back of Andy, hunting down the Scotsman. Scotsman hoping for race win number 2 here in CRC. Speedster later on the brakes, trying to do with Daniel Ricciardo down towards turn 1. Can he get the move done? He's on the outside line. It will favour the traction around the outside here for Speedster. The American and the Scotsman really side by side, very much near contact there. Fantastic racing, and Speedster going wide slightly could give Andy the advantage. Speedster on the inside line, they've got to be careful. Nearly make contact. They have. Speedster and Andy make contact, unfortunate, and against Racing at Home, it just gives him the lead of the race. Speedster and Andy off camber of the corner. Andy had the natural racing line, I think, to go wide and then deep into the corner. Speedster, because they were split apart on the track, that's why they've made contact. It's as simple as that. They just haven't been aware of each other.
Well, no, Andy was giving Speedster plenty of room, and then into turn 4 there, he's on the outside of the circuit. He's giving Speedster like 3/4 of the track, and Speedster's just rubbed right up against him and then turned him round.
Yeah.
And I told him that Speedster was going to come past whichever way possible, and he's just driven into him, and he's just wrecked Andy's race.
And Andy is actually, Andy is behind him actually out on track. So Speedster in 8th. Flaky now 9th, Andy down to 10th as a result of that contact. Sinclair, I think, you were going to go on board with, but the battle for the lead, there's a right string of cars here. 4-way battle, perhaps, between Racing at Home, Sinclair, Nissim and Matter. To be honest, these guys, I think, have just been gifted, perhaps, podiums and maybe even the wins.
Yeah, it's an absolute gift there for Racing at Home once again. It's not like he's earned it. Again, we've got Darren up there, we've got Nissim, ILR, Matt, who's having a very, very, very good race, and Commentalist, who's just probably smiling from ear to ear at the moment. But that was really silly. I mean, Speedster had time to pass Andy. He didn't need to pass him there and then, and he was obviously faster, and Andy wasn't going to... Andy had given him space, he'd even given him the inside line into turn 1, and it's just so unnecessary that needed to happen. Obviously, I mean, it could be desync on this footage, and now Manuel goes up the inside of Zandamar. That's a lot of room given between those two. I think Zandamar's let him through there.
Emmanuel through.
Back in.
I think Emmanuel...
So no one's wide here. Is Zandamar going to go straight back up the inside? No, he needs a gap. So yeah, that's a bit of a you go first. But we're still side by side. Zandamar's trying to let you through, Emmanuel. What are you doing?
They're not sure, I think, how this is going to really pan out, to be honest. Zandamar and Manuel, they're getting caught by Speedster and behind as well. These guys have really got to try and decide now whether to go or not, because Speedster is literally on top and tail on the back of them. Zandamar and Manuel, they make contact slightly, and Speedster caught up, wrong place, wrong time. Zandamar and Manuel make contact, Speedster caught up in an incident, and that will make probably... Oh my goodness me! We have had... That is Alan, I think, that's been caught up in that incident as well. Zandamar out of the race. Yeah, needless to say what happened there, to be honest.
Yeah, it looks like, I think that's gone wrong, and Speedster, I mean, they say, as Alonso would say, karma. So, I mean, again, I haven't seen, I'm mainly Speedster for that footage, but I mean, it did look like that from the off-board cam, but again, the lag can be different. He may have thought there was more space with Andy, but at the same time, I think Andy given him the whole circuit. With that, yeah, it just seemed a shame that Emmanuel, I don't know if Emmanuel and Spencer wanted to keep battling or one was trying to let the other through, but eventually they're falling over each other and Spencer's ended up being turned around. And the problem there is you've got such a big closing speed, you don't know where the car's going to go, so it just looks like Alan's misread it and smashed into him.
Yeah, Sinclair setting a slightly quicker lap that time around compared to Racing Home. Already on lap 5. This race is actually quite flown over, to be honest. Racing Home lead, Darren in second, this in third. Matter is in fourth. Carl Mensis, by the way, really impressing me so far. He's literally been thrown in at the deep end here in LMP3, but he's in fifth on his debut. This is probably going to be one of the better debuts I think we've seen in CRC.
I mean, this is what we said during quali, right? When he was sort of neat and tidy, he wasn't absolutely picking the car up by the scruff of his neck and ragging it round. He was neat, tidy, slow, steady, and I said during the race that might pay off because it means that, you know, other people might make mistakes, and if he just stays on the track, he can get a good result, and that's exactly what's happening at the moment. He may get caught later in the race by people like Andy Emmanuel, Flaky, 007 Professional. He may get caught by those guys later on, but at the moment he's having a really clean race.
Three-car battle here. Emmanuel, Flaky and Professional. Professional up into ninth now after his early mistake. Alan, by the way, was the car that you might have seen getting flipped, and that is why. He got flipped up into the air, quite literally, landed on his roof, I think, and Alan into the pits. Suspension damage, rear damage, the whole hog, and unfortunately for him, the American is going to be probably limping his way around the track now. But Sinclair on the back of Racing at Home. Currently 0.5 of a second separating these guys out on track. Nissan and Matta are trying to get closer, but not quite close enough so far. Speedster, by the way, has been into the pits as well. He's out of the pit lane now, and with a 2-second penalty. And I think Professional has also picked up a 1-second penalty as well for track extension somewhere out on track. In the meantime, Matta all over the back of Nissan. This is beginning to come into Carmentelis's play, I think. He's in fifth, 3.7 seconds off. Can he possibly get these two in the next 2 laps? I think Michael. Oh, you're still here.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to pull it out at some point, but no, well, we shall see. It's so difficult here because you can be right under someone's rear wing and not be able to pass, just because the braking zones are quite short here. So especially with cars with this set of downforce as well, one corner follows into another, so you've got to really pick your moment and make it stick. Do you know what I mean? Like as we saw with Emmanuel, Emmanuel and Zanderbar. It was sort of tit for tat, corner after corner after corner, and then it went wrong. You need to, for the track like this, short apex corners, but the corners that go on for quite a while and lead into one another, it's going to be quite difficult to do. And Racing at Home here, he's deliberately holding up Darren Sinclair here. Don't make a mistake. What he's doing at the moment is he's saving his tyres, he's saving his fuel, and going fast in places where he knows Darren can get past. So what he'll do now is he'll be slow in the middle sector. I mean, I did this to him in Season 3. I was in the McLaren, he was in the Audi, and he closed up on me. He was faster at the time. He was much, much faster. What he'll do now, he won't push. You can see how close Darren is. Darren's having to lift. Racing at Home will be in like Lee mix. He'll be going very, very slowly, so he knows Darren can't make a move here. And then what he'll do now is he'll really attack these 2 corners to give himself a gap on the straight. Watch now, braking very, very late. He brake later than Darren there. He's early on the power. Look at the gap he's pulling now. And he's braking late there. He's 1 downshift and he's away. And he's pulled out enough of a gap to pull away. Look at that. What's that?
Actually, I think he got did he get caught on the curb there? I think he didn't actually gain as much time. And he's lost time. And here comes Sinclair. Sinclair is right on the back of him here, down into the chicane for the 6th time out on track. Sinclair down the inside. Can he take the lead of the race? Yes, he can. Gifted it to a plate. Racing at Home, caught on the curb. That's why he got the poor exit, which we saw. And Racing at Home actually trying to dive it down the inside into the final corner, but Sinclair is through. He's into the lead of the race, and that is very important because that now puts Sinclair, I think, currently out on track in the net lead of the championship.
Yeah, he's done a very, very good job there. I mean, Racing at Home's garbage.
Whoa!
His wheel must have disconnected. He must have a wheel issue.
Racing at Home.
Something's gone wrong here.
Oh, it's disconnected. Racing at Home is disconnected, and he's the host of the lobby.
This could mess things up.
Oh my goodness me, we're 12 minutes in, so if there is any ability for a restart, then we'll probably get that underway soon. But judging by everyone else, nobody else has lost connection. It's just Chris and Zandermal that have retired out of the race purely because of incidents that they're being caught up with. That's just a disconnect from Racing at Home's end. And Nissan's off!
Nissan's gone off here!
Oh, goodness me. I thought he was going to rejoin just in front of Matter, but goodness me, Nissan has gone off. So getting caught on the curb. These curbs are very lethal here at the Nurburgring. But Sinclair, I think, has just been gifted maybe the race win there, to be honest, with that disconnect.
Has he been gifted, though? Because he did pass Racing at Home with through merit. So
He
he's been given gifted. I don't want to undermine his performance. You know what I mean? He's been let off the hook. Let's say. Let's put it like that. He's not really under pressure now. So, but I tell you what, ILR Matt is doing a fantastic job. He's brought himself up from a sort of mid-grade quality. He's picked himself through some of the incidents. He's just passed Nissim on merit, and I think he's doing a fantastic job. He's had, made a couple of mistakes, and he's been a midfield runner this season, but he's doing a fantastic job. He's obviously got that car in a nice setup window, and as you said, crucially avoiding the curbs. So the cars are so low here, as you can see on the side of Matt. You look at the ground clearance there. There's really, you couldn't fit, your whole arm under there. So when these curbs on the right and the left, as you can see how high they are, as soon as you touch that, you unload the wheel that's on it, but then you overload the other wheels. So once those other wheels, so the other 3 tyres and contact factors become overloaded, that's when the car becomes loose. But then if you factor in as well, you've upset the aero platform. Once you put the car on an angle like that, it's the same when you're turning, it's the same when you've got oversteer, understeer. The aero platform will be upset. So then you get sort of a mild stall of the wings as soon as you start to put the car broadside and upset the angle of the car, the yaw of the car, as well as the pitch and roll. So you factor all those things in, you end up being like Nissim, tiny mistake, touching the curb slightly, and you're sideways, jumping across the grass, the car's in the air, all the rest of it. So that's where you can't drive these cars as hard as you could the GT3s because they're sort of more a production car. These are sort of the lowest prototype you can get, but they're still a prototype. They're not designed to take these bumps, and that's what we're seeing here with such difficult curves. We saw the same in Indianapolis, where cars almost went off through the compression. There we saw the same with Zandamar when he got slip angles through the Porsche curves and the whole aero stall. The car Mentalist is going to go round here.
Wow! Tokyo drift through the Dunlop hairpin. My God,
exactly
that was
what
sick.
I'm talking about. Exactly, he under-rotated the rear tyres then through brake bias, and then as soon as the car started sliding, he just lost more and more grip, because that aero stall from Zandamar, but then aero stall through his slide angle, the air passing over it, and he had to just keep slowing down until his tyres could grip again. But he held the car. I mean, most people would have spun there. He's done very well, and the canvas sends you to the inside as well. So that car control, that was really good. That was fantastic.
Best car control I've seen in CRC LMP3 so far this season, and again into the chicane, just over-rotating slightly, but he's now beginning to get back on the pace. He's now beginning to refocus, and look at how he's on the back of Nissim. Looking at the last time around, Nissim obviously with that mistake, 2 seconds Carl Mentalist was quicker than Nissim last time around, and Carl Mentalist is doing a brilliant job, and look at that for lap times. They literally can't be split in terms of last lap time. 154.495 for both of them. Absolutely unbelievable. And that was with Carl Mentalist making a mistake, and he could get the traction around the outside through turn 2 and into turn 3. Can he possibly get the move done? He switches to the inside. Carl Mentalist looking to get the move done. Down on the inside through the Mercedes Arena section we go. Nissim on the outside line. He's now on the inside line. Carl Mentalist tries to switch back, trying to get it done. Just lagging there slightly, but I think Nissim is just about going to hang on, or is he? Carl Mentalist down into chicane. No, Nissim is hanging on, but he's hanging on for grim life, and this is forcing Matter now into a bit of no man's land just ahead.
This is fantastic. I think Carl Mentalist has got to make the move soon, because every time he goes into a slow corner, he is losing the rear tyres a little bit, and which means he's going to be heating them up, and then he's in the dirty air of Nissim as well, which means he's not getting as much downforce, so he's going to struggle here to hold on to the car much longer behind Nissim if he keeps pushing as hard as he is. I think that's Zandamar trying to join, and he's disconnecting as well. But that was fantastic car placement by both drivers there. Carl Mentalist really did place the car well for the first couple of corners, and then as he came out of turn 3 into turn 4, he tried to duck back under Nissim to get the drive on the exit, but Nissim just parked the car on the exit. He knew exactly what he was going to try and do, because he just, Carl Mentalist had done it at the corner before as well, and the corner before that. But Nissim just held the car there, and by the time Carl Mentalist had ducked out from under Nissim, he didn't have that overlap, he didn't have the run, the extra speed to pass him. So, fantastic driving by both drivers, even with the lag as well.
There's been contact! Carl Mentalist and Nissim! Not sure if Carl Mentalist made a mistake coming out of the chicane, just coming on board. I saw him go down. They were quite close into the chicane. I'm not sure what happened there. We've totally missed that at all. But Nissim stays third. It hasn't got any damage. I think Carl Mentalist might have over-rotated on that inside curve, to be honest.
I mean, what I was saying about the rear tyres as well, I could see they were just getting hotter and hotter, and he was just losing more and more rear grip. So if he's tried perhaps to make a move, and that gap's closed, he's hit the brakes even harder and locked the rears, and he's gone round. I mean, I can't see any damage, so we're just going to go with that.
Danny inside on a professional gets it. Oh no, doesn't he spun?
Half spun, made a mistake, and professional's run away with it.
I thought he disconnected from the session there for a minute. The camera angle just completely and utterly messed up.
Professional's gone up ahead of him. He'll have a slowdown penalty now. But that's, he's gone off yet, and he's trying to let it go. Look, you can see how little turtle he's putting in. He's trying to get the slowdown to go, but he's not going to go. Because,
has it gone?
Has it gone?
I think
I'm
it
not
might
sure
have.
because that running wide on that curve is horrendous. It really nails you for it. No,
3 seconds worth of penalties.
Seconds. That's a
Just
2 and a 1,
more
so that might have given him a penalty. I'm not sure what lap that was, but Emmanuel made the move cleanly. He was ready to go. He had the drive, but yeah, just unfortunately a bit eager on the loud pedal and spun at the inside wheel. That could show perhaps that he's got quite an open diff, so he might be running quite an open diff to make sure the car can go on power through places like here, the Schumacher S, is where it's so difficult to keep the car on power up the hill. So, but when he struggles, then he's perhaps straight line traction. So, or he just put his foot down too hard. It could be as simple as that. But he'll catch up with 007 again, and he'll try and make the move, perhaps somewhere else, so he doesn't make that mistake. But their lap times are very, very similar at the moment.
Yeah, and a professional actually now a second and a half clear. Manuel just seems to be struggling slightly out on track. Andy, by the way, after his earlier contact with Speedster and nearly being out the race as a result of further contact, as Nissim's just picked up a penalty, Andy is in 4th position out on track, and he is on, how this race has gone so far, he is on for podium, I think, which is unbelievable.
He's come away very lucky out of that because, you know, it could have taken one driver to hit him, as they did with Spencer Zandema, I should say, as they hit him as he spun. You know, Andy did a good job of spinning to the inside and staying there off the racing line, but he was lucky no one collected him. He was lucky he was able to rejoin, even though he would have made sure he was able to do that himself. But, you know, you can never count out someone like Alan turning up and smashing into you. So, yeah, he's got away with that quite well, because he could have had damage. He could have actually hit the wall. You know what I mean? It's so many times that it just goes slightly the wrong way, like the bad bounce of the rugby ball. It can swing so hard, and then Speedster ended up actually getting damage himself and pitting. So it can flip both ways. But he's done a fantastic job to keep his head and keep going. And that's somewhere where I used to fall down. Is I used to just sort of lose my head a little bit, fall apart if something went wrong, and then I struggle to calm down again. You know. But some of these drivers are so good at just going, yeah, okay, that happened. Carry on. Like Carl Mentalist, he qualified badly, and he must have gone in going, oh god, this is going to be a terrible race. And he's gone, no, I'll give it a go. And look where he is now. He's doing a fantastic job.
And Bart as well, having that earlier contact, he is now on the back of High Grade for 9th position. So this is going to get quite dicey, I think, between the Dutchman
Yes.
out on track and High Grade as well. But High Grade currently leading the way. Wow. Darren Sinclair, by the way, leading the way. Nissim in
Bart's
3rd.
going around the outside of High Grade here, sorry. Bart's just gone around the outside. He's taken a slightly shallower line, going around the outside into the next corner, down the hill, use the camber to his advantage. Can he hold it around the outside here? He could do the same, but I think he's going to try and get back underneath High Grade here. But High Grade's going to hold it tight to the inside. He's running right side, Bart won't outdrag him here. Yeah, High Grade was very aware where Bart was then. But Bart's just tucked in behind. The very sensible thing to do going up here, but he's got to watch for the error wash. There it is.
Oh no!
He's off the circuit. That could be a slowdown penalty here for Bart. It's very, very aggressive on that outside curb, and look how much he's fallen away now. High Grade doing a very good job. Bart's outbraked himself.
Oh Jesus!
Oh, I think High Grade was early on the brakes there. Bart just completely outbraked himself, and he's trying to pass High Grade, but it's so cringe and awkward because like they don't want to hit each other because they know how sensitive these cars are to damage. He's gone around the outside. High Grade's holding it to the outside now of the next corner.
I think he's got this.
After the late breakers, I think High Grade might let him have it here. Yes, he's giving him a wider line. Bart's so tentative here. He's so scared of losing his rear wing. I cannot tell you. He's so annoyed the last few races. It's always him that's been struggling. So that's why he's so tentative there. And High Grade, he's had incidents with High Grade the last couple of races as well that have ruined his race. So he's also just as tentative. So yeah, these cars are so fragile. It only takes the slightest knock in the right place and the wing's gone. But give him Speedster. He's doing a very, very strong job having recovered. Now he is, I think his lap time after he pit was like a 2:23. It took him ages to cross the line again because the pit lane was before the finish line. And he's going to make up all that time. He's going to make up sort of over 30-40 seconds after everything happens. But he will do it and he will get there. 38 minutes left. So it makes up a second a lap. He can make it, I'd say he could be top 7 by the end of this race. I think he's capable of that.
Interesting.
If he keeps his head.
22 seconds to Flaky though, for Bart.
I don't think Bart will close that gap. Flaky and the ILR boys really do have quite a consistent setup going on at the moment, and I imagine they are sharing. Flaky's a very consistent driver. He's not lightning fast, he's not the fastest, he admits that himself. But time and time again, when there's like an atrocious race, he comes out sort of more towards the top 10, more towards the higher reaches of the top 10, I should say. And he's very, very happy to pound ground here by himself and just do a good job. He's very reliable in that sense. So I think Bart, in his eagerness to close on Flaky, might make a mistake. He has got a penalty as well. So Bart's last lap is 2 seconds slow. I don't think Bart will close unless Flaky makes a mistake, really.
Andy closing in on Nissim, I think, though. 2 seconds the gap. Nissim third, Andy fourth. Still Sinclair in front.
He was 1.2 seconds faster on the last lap. Yes, so you are right. Absolutely right.
1.8 seconds. He's really beginning to hammer in to that advantage now is Andy. We have got 36 minutes and 50 seconds roughly left to go. Good evening, by the way, to Agulator and everyone else who is tuning into the comments section there. I have seen you guys. I've recognised you. Hope you're enjoying a good night. And hopefully you're not out in the pub like we are here in lockdown. Who was that in the background?
That's my dog Squeak. I just stepped on it. My bad.
Goodness me. Oh. Andy,
what's racing at home whining in the background? I don't know.
I might be racing at home whining in the background. He might have come and hunted you down after what you said earlier on. Emmanuel, by the way, on the back of Professional. He has really got onto the back now of Professional. Not sure if there's been a mistake anywhere. I don't think it is. I think it's Emmanuel's pace purely to gain on Professional ahead. And Professional's got a penalty. Emmanuel doesn't, I don't think. He doesn't. But Professional has got 3 seconds worth of penalties. Nissim's got a second penalty as well. Emmanuel trying to have a dice there, just actually makes a mistake, and Professional just doesn't look like he's under any amount of pressure, to be honest. I don't think Emmanuel is close enough to pressurise him. Saying that though, I might be corrected up into the chicane. Yes,
he's got some straight line speed here. It's just levelling out. I don't think he'll dive here. 007 Professional is very good with racing other cars. He's very aware of what's going on. But Emmanuel's so careful through that chicane. My goodness, I don't know if he thought Professional was going to spin or not, but Emmanuel's a very, very good driver, but often it's as if he wants it too much sometimes. You know what I mean? He's so eager to utilise his pace, he kind of overcooks it sometimes, as we saw earlier on. But when he gets into that zone, and he's good at getting into it in quali, he can do 4, 5, 6 laps that are absolutely top of the tree, the fastest off the pack, but then he might make a small mistake. So this is what we saw earlier on when he caught up to 007 Professional fast and made a mistake. I did say earlier on he was going to catch back up as well, and he has. And he's made a little mistake in that chicane. Perhaps the car felt a bit loose and he's back off again. So this sort of that yo-yo pace is kind of what we see from Emmanuel. But when he is in that zone, he's almost untouchable. He almost did a full race of it in Zolder last season. But I've never seen him do it for a full race, other than in IndyCar. When he races IndyCar, apparently he's very, very good. He does that in other leagues at the moment, though.
Just having a look on board with high
grade here,
just having a look on board with high grade. Speeds has got the move done. I think high grade's made a clear mistake, I think, coming in the earlier parts of the lap.
Yeah, last lap was 2 minutes.
Yeah, his last lap was 2 minutes, and Speedster, is now beginning to get onto the back of Bach just ahead. Andy, in the meantime, is still closing in on Nissim. Andy hoping for another good result, trying to replicate an Algarve result from him. Of course, winning there was Andy, and he is 1.3 seconds down. The gap is closing, but not at the rate as what he would have been hoping probably 2 laps ago, because that gap was 2 seconds. It's now 1.3, and he is improving personal best wise on this lap, and he was quicker than this last time around as well.
Yeah, so this is the thing, when you've got the bit between your teeth and you see a car ahead, it's easy to close up, but then all of a sudden your tyres start getting a little hot and you start losing a bit more aero from your car from the wash in the car in front. The guy in front gets a kick of adrenaline because he can see you closing in the mirror, and he's got the lights on, so he's saying, look, Nissim, I'm coming. Nissim's like, right, I've got to leather it now and pull away. And Nissim is like one of the best racers on the grid. He will fight tooth and nail for position, but it will almost always be clean. He's super consistent, super nice, great racer, the kind of guy that really enjoys the racing, you know what I mean? He doesn't want to be out there on his own, so he'll be relishing Andy catching up to him, but he will be putting his own foot up his arse to get going. But Andy's doing faster lap after faster lap after faster lap. That might come to a head here. No, he has to actually pick up some time, because I was going to say about the dirty air. This is where he's going to lose time now. He's got to try and stay close enough to Nissim to get that toe onto the back straight, because otherwise he's not going to be able to. I think he thought Nissim was going to go off there. I don't know if he made a mistake himself or what, but
I think he got caught in the curve.
Ah, yes, as I was talking about curves earlier, right? But you're so right, you're monitoring the gaps. You're right, he's closing up. This is where he's now got to try and... His car will change now. The difference in weight from the car... Wow, that was weird. That was a bit of a
lag moment, yeah.
Yeah, we thought he'd gone off. That would have been in the wall. His whole car is changing now with the weight from Nissan's car. If he's ducking in and out of it all the time, the car balance is just shifting all the time. And he's just spent the last sort of 15 laps on his own, practically, without any dirty air. So now he's catching up. He's going to be like, have to reassess where the car is, where is he faster, where is he slow, where can he make a move, and you can see how close he was into turn 1 and how far he is now, and that's just through dirty air.
Yeah, Andy, I think, is probably stronger in the first sector and the second sector combined, but he has lost a little bit of time in that second half of that second sector, and he has now dropped 0.7 of a second off. Speedster, by the way, is right on the back of Bart. I'm going to come to this now, and he is fighting out for 10th position. This is for the final point scoring positions, I believe, out on track. And I mean, this is Bart against Speedster into the Schumacher S's. Speedster down the inside line, Bart lets him through. No nonsense approach there. Yeah, no nonsense approach there. Speedster getting the move done, Bart down to 10th. And Emmanuel has made a mistake through the chicane.
There we go.
He's down to 8th. Flaky now to 7th as a result. And Matter, where's these pace came from? 49.8 last time around, and he's only 2 seconds off Darren.
Wow.
Wow. Shell shocked.
Wow. That was interesting. I mean, let's just go back to what I was saying about Flaky again. He will just pound around and pick up those points and pick up those positions as he sees fit, and he's done exactly that. Emmanuel's made the mistake, as I said he was going to. Professional's been let off the hook a little bit. Andy now is starting to struggle. He's trying to pinch a inside wheel there behind Nissan. He's just, the car will feel so much different now behind Nissan. He needs to, the longer he stays there, the longer he will stay there, if that makes any sense. Just get stuck in that dirty air. Interesting that you mentioned Matt and Darren. Matt has really just tuned up the wick at the moment. Maybe he feels he's fuel saved enough. He feels that I've conserved enough fuel now, I can get to the end. And we'll be looking at with Andy. We're looking at 46 for Andy. Should we do a fuel check? I think Darren versus Matt will be interesting to look on fuel wise. So we've got 45.5 for Darren, so slightly, it's around the same as Andy. And then Matt's actually got less fuel than Darren, so maybe, I don't know, maybe he just thinks he's going to have a pop because there's so much space behind. They can battle now. And with those two fighting behind them, they have time to fight themselves. So Matt might be trying to turn up the wick a little bit here to say, hey, look, I'm going to come after you now. Let's see what you got, Darren.
Oh my God! Andy getting caught on the curb. Goodness me! I thought he was going to flip and roll there, to be honest. But Nissim in 3rd, and that is Andy in 4th position. But this battle, I think, is only getting going right now. Andy should... possibly, I think he should lunge it down towards turn 1, to be honest. I think if he's got the pace and if he's got the brakes, he should get the move done down towards turn 1, but he's staying in behind for now. So he's not listening to me, he's listening to his own engineer. Which I think is the wisest thing to do.
Yes, but he's very, very close in this first sector. He's obviously got a very stable car. He loses some in the middle and then closes up in the last couple of corners. So it's a very, very difficult situation because he's kind of not close enough at the start of the lap, but not close enough at the end of the lap. Either that's a penalty for Nissim. For sure, that'll be a slowdown for Nissim there, running wide. Absolutely. Whether he gives that up or not is his choice. Remember, he can choose to take the time penalty at the end of the race or lift and coast to give that time back. But that will be a time penalty for Nissim. I think it's 2 seconds there, 1 or 2 seconds. Definitely a time penalty. I know from myself. There's one on there. It will take a little bit of time to come on, unless he's been incredible and lifted off beforehand. He's done very well, but this is where Andy's losing the time. Look, and this could be the differences between the cars themselves, you know? The Ligier being a bit more on the nose, Nissan might be able to just hold those lines a bit better. Andy's taking a slightly later line in, straight line the exit. He's very close, but he's not close enough because this braking zone isn't long enough to really make a move here. But I think this is the closest he's been at the end of the second sector for the last couple of laps. And he's got to get this move done. He can't stay behind Nissan for the whole race. Nissan's slightly wide. He's out on the curb.
Oh,
he's in the
off. He's lagged off.
I don't know. I don't know if he's off or not. It doesn't look like it. And Alan gets out the way. Andy is close enough here, but is he then conscious of the lag? Is he then like, oh, okay, do I get close enough with this lag? Is it lagging on his screen? I hope not, because that means he'll be really tempted.
Oh, he's right in the back.
The last corner here. Will he got the inside? He's looking. Will he make move? No, he just wanted to scare Nissan there.
Going to try and force him into a mistake, I think.
He's going to try.
Oh my God!
They're so close here.
I thought he was going to go around the outside of him.
Oh. Yes, you're right. He's down the inside now, Andy. He's switched back, managed to get down the inside. I don't know if he's scared Nissan in too shallow into the last corner. He has got the speed. Will he brake late enough here? Who's going to brake the latest? Nissim breaks the latest. Will he try and hold it all the way around the outside or try and duck back
inside
under?
line.
He's going to try and
yeah,
hold
and
it.
he's got it.
Has he now? Has Nissim got the drive? Can he stay back at the inside? No, Andy's going to swoop right around the outside, take the position from Nissim and drive away. He has more pace. Can he now keep the lap clean? This is the thing now. His car will feel like it did 10 laps ago when he wasn't behind Nissim. What's he going to do? Is he going to be able to hold it together? Is he going to pull away? We'll see now if he can just go, right, let me just forget the last 5-6 laps when I behind Nissim. What does my car feel like now? I need to absolutely vault. And Nissim hasn't taken a penalty, so he's done a fantastic job to negate that advantage and stay ahead of Andy without taking a penalty, because that corner is a slam dunk usually.
Yeah.
But we'll see if Andy can pull away now. He should, because he does have better speed, but you know, as you come out that dirty air, your car's hot, your tyres are hot, your brain's fried because you just made the move, you're shaking with adrenaline. But Andy's a big boy. Let's see if he can pull away from Nissim now.
Andy, I think, is quite a mature driver, to be honest, out on track, and I say that in the sense that he has got the mentality, I think, to try and get past Nissim, and he really has done that to absolute perfection. I think he realised he could get him through the final corner and down the straight in towards turn 1, got the move done, and I think he is beginning to pull away, because that gap is nearly a second already, so Andy be really beginning to try and pull this out. Mata, by the way, is beginning, I would say, to close in, but I'm going to say now that that gap is quite consistent. Sinclair 2 seconds clear of Mata. Mata runs very wide through the final corner. Not a major mistake, but costs him a little bit of time nonetheless. He was actually quicker than Sinclair last time around, which is quite surprising.
He will be, yeah, he's chinned up the wick now, and it's a little temper creeping bit of desperation where he's possibly trying too hard now with that little bit of run wide there. If Andy and Nissim had battled much longer, Car Rentless would have got them both. He's really starting to close in. So Nissim will be hoping that Andy can pull away now, and he can pull away with him. Otherwise, he's going to come under pressure from Car Rentless, who's doing a fantastic job this race. And his teammate 007 Professional, also, after a ropey start and a ropey qualifying, he's also doing quite a good job here.
Yeah, Professional in safe comments in 5th as well. Got to be honest, Nissim is beginning to drop that time. He's running a bit of no man's land now, and already you can see that gap closing in. Commenceless was 2 seconds coming through the Mercedes section off Nissim. So this is going to be quite intriguing to see. The debutant with 25 minutes to go, I think it's more than enough time for him to both catch and pass. And I think, to be honest, he could be in line for P3. I think he could get Andy as well.
I'm not sure about that because, well, actually, now you're saying that, the start of the race, his pace wasn't that great, but he was just very, very consistent. But now he's really picking up the pace. Let's have a look now. 150.5? Yeah, that's a good lap.
Yeah.
I think Nissim now, I think the gap to Nissim has been exaggerated slightly because he's just been in Andy's dirty air and he hasn't been in dirty air all race. So he would have had to adjust there to what the car felt like. Now Andy's pulling away a bit. I think Nissim will start to get back into his rhythm a little bit, start picking up the pace like he did with Andy for a couple of laps. We stayed ahead and that gap stayed stagnant. He'll start pulling away a little bit, but as soon as Carmentis gets up behind him, I feel like Carmentis will smell blood. You see Andy attack and get past, but he can smell Nissim's blood now, and he's coming after him. This is the thing, I don't know Carmentis very well, but he seems pretty level-headed. Whether he throws it all at passing Nissim or just takes the result, I don't know. But he's not fighting for a championship, so he may throw it all at fighting Nissim.
Very much impressed going through the chicane there. He actually didn't take any curb at all through there, so Commensus really beginning to close in. And yeah, I agree with you, he is definitely level-headed. Any commentary that I've done with, he's been level-headed. And again, quicker than Nissim last time around, but what I keep on urging in these commentaries is saying, the fastest lap pace is not the necessary indicator for the guy catching up behind. In this case it is, but Nissim only 3/10 behind Commensus in terms of lap times last time around, and Andy in fact had the quickest lap last time around compared to even Sinclair in first. Commensus though is beginning to close that gap, and I mean it was 2.3 seconds at the start of the last lap, it's now 1.6, so 7/10 gain.
I don't think Carmentis is trying to close the gap because he's not in full fuel mode. Watch now. When he comes out this corner, he puts his foot to the floor. We don't see the bar go all the way up. So he's either in lean or he's in normal. He's not in rich. So we were talking about fuel at the start of this race. That will be his strategy to try to save some. What's he on? He's on about 34, high 34s.
Both on the same fuel, I think.
So Nissim is doing it a different way. Notice he's still using the rich mix. He's still got full fuel flow there. What he's doing is he's lifting and coasting. He's taking a higher gear through certain corners. That's the way he's going to be going about it. And Carmentis is going about it different ways. You're seeing different strategies, different driver techniques all coming together here to produce very similar lap times, and they're actually coming back together on circuit as well. So And that's really interesting spotting that. But Carmentless is running quite a high engine temperature, so that might be why maybe he has some damage. No, he's back in rich now. I think if he's running that high engine damage, that can A, make you use more fuel and give you that engine damage, which will slow you down towards the end of the race when you start accumulating that over a period of time. But unfortunately for Carmentless, we could see him struggle for fuel at the end if his engine temperature is this high. However, the second half of the race is turning to heavy cloud, I think. It's turning to much cooler conditions. So he won't have an issue towards the end of the race, actually. I contradict myself. However, will the damage have been done in this first half of the race? Will he have already done, made the mistake of closing that radiator off? Because it's still going up. The temperature's still going up on that engine. It was 245 when we joined him, and now it's 250. Or back to 245 now. So I think it's more engine management than fuel management. But Nissim is using roughly the same amount of fuel with a cooler engine. Interesting as well, if we could see perhaps Andy catch up to ILR Matt. If ILR Matt overcooks it and pushes too hard to catch Darren, we could see Andy close up to ILR Matt. I don't think Andy will push for that because it's a 10-second gap, and that can be closed over 22 minutes. But I don't think it's worth it. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's worth risking that going off. But he just did a fantastic. He's done the fastest lap of the race. No, he hasn't. Speedster's doing the fastest laps of the race.
49.
And he's doing the fastest lap of the top 8. But Speedster's absolutely probably red-faced, going nuts right now because he's thrown away the race win. I mean, I would be, if he made that mistake, he had an easy pass on Andy coming up. He could have passed and driven away. He could be the guy at the head of the field right now. But I just wanted to touch on, isn't it nice not having racing at home in the race? Isn't it nice? Can you smell how less toxic it is? Like the whole atmosphere is better, all the driving's better, there's been no incidents since he's been gone. Honestly, I think we should just do this every week.
I think there's been no incidents purely because I think the field has been spaced out as well. Matter, by the way, is gaining on Sinclair.
Don't give me logic.
I'm not going to commentate his curse, don't worry at all. Matter on the back of Sinclair, though, in the meantime. 2.1 seconds, this gap has stayed sterile, is the word I'll use.
Hard, though.
It has stayed
They're
sterile.
pushing hard. They're both on it, though, you're right. It is a stagnant gap, but ILR Matt's just done his fastest lap of the race. And he's pushing hard behind Darren, and Darren's also pushing hard. So it's going to be about who can keep the pace up and keep the fuel at the same time. You're so right for calling that. It is stagnant at the moment. It's going to be who makes a mistake first and who realises that they've got the fuel number to the end of the race.
Commensalist is only 0.7 of a second as Nissim just runs wide there through turn 1. Commensalist, though, in the meantime, 0.8 away. This is really now make or break for Commensalist to get into the top 4. The gap is 0.7 of a second, albeit out on track. And Commensalist, I've been really surprised with this pace, to be honest. I honestly thought coming into this race, Alan, by the way, has left the session. So Alan taking no further part. I think he spun a couple of times out on track. So he kept on going to the last 20 minutes. But he did well, given that he got flipped up on the roof earlier on in the race. But Commensalist on the back of Nissim, I've been really surprised with his pace here. I thought honestly he would have been towards the back end of the field, and he's absolutely igniting these timing screens out on track, and he's right on the back of Nissim. And by the way, Emmanuel has just gone through on Flaky, so Emmanuel up to 7th, Flaky down into 8th position, and look who's hunting them down. Speedster, he could get them both, I think. Commensalist, though, in the meantime, on the back of Nissim. Hopefully we're still live and everything. 15.3 seconds, the gap to the lead for Commensalist. In terms of Darren, 19 minutes to go. Nissim in 4th, Commensalist in 5th, but 0.5 of a second separating. And in fact, Commensalist lighting up the timing screens. He's 4.5 quicker. Look at how close he is to the back of Nissim here. Nissim really under a lot of pressure now from Commensalist. Commensalist, remember, on his debut here tonight, he is all over the back of him. Could he get a move down towards turn 1? Let's find out. 18 minutes to go roughly. Commensalist is on the back of Nissim. 1,000th off in terms of best lap time, but can he go for the move? Can he go late on the brakes? Daniel Ricciardo start down into turn 1. No, he can't. He could try and force Nissim into the mistake, but Nissim in 4th position. Commensalist in 5th. Professional trying to close up in 6th. That's probably his fastest lap of the race I think I've seen him do for Professional. But look at this. Commensalist on the back of Nissim. And Nissim under pressure, and he's under too much pressure because here comes Commensalist trying to go around the outside, down in towards The next section of the track, towards the end of the first sector, Commensus is all over the back, but he's running and he's getting held up here. This is really crucial for Commensus. He needs to get the move done now. Down into the Dunlop hairpin, I think, could be perfect because he could be having the great run out. And it's going to be side by side down towards the Dunlop hairpin. Nissim trying to force him off track. Commensus onto the inside line though. Can he get the move done? Can he keep his level headed cool? Yes, he can. Commensus down the inside into the Dunlop hairpin. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. Commensus through and he's up to 4th. He made that stick and he made it worthwhile. Brilliant move.
I mean, I'm just so impressed. I really am. Like, the thing is, he wasn't closing in on Nissim. In the last like 2 or 3 laps, he wasn't closing in. Nissim was falling back towards him. You know what I mean? He was making mistakes left, right, and centre. Commensus was just pumping the laps, same lap time, same. You can see him changing the fuel mix all the time. So he's just got his rhythm. He's just pumping the laps, and Nissim's just trying to get some pace out of somewhere, trying to scavenge some pace. He's made some mistakes, and Commensus is there. As soon as Commensus turned up, he had so much pace in reserve. He just switched on. He was all over Nissim, all over the track, fuel mix up, and he passed him within a few corners. Like he's got so much in reserve right now.
Already, it's 1.7 seconds clear of Nissim, which is just unbelievable. He's absolutely gained the time.
I don't know if Nissim's like struggling with tyres, perhaps tyre heat, or maybe the car balance has gone away from him towards the end of the race here. But this inconsistency you don't usually see from Nissim, and hopefully he can hold on to it, you know, until the end of the race, because 007 Professional doesn't deserve that position.
Here comes Speedster on the back of Flaky. Flaky taking a very defensive line into the chicane here, really hogging the inside there, nearly onto the white line. But Speedster now all over the back of Flaky. I think, to be honest, it's just a matter of time he gets past these two. He's just looking so much quicker than the guys ahead. Can Speedster get the move done down in towards someone? This is what we saw with Commensus and this in last lap around. Can Speedster repay the favour this time on Flaky? We've got 11 drivers still going, 16 minutes to go. Speedster, is he going to try it late on the brakes? This is Daniel Ricciardo style. Down the inside goes the American, on Flaky the Malaysian, and a brilliant move there by Speedster. Daniel Ricciardo-esque, he's through, he's up to 8th, and he's got Emmanuel only a second up the road.
Flaky did a really good job there, man. He held his own, and he put up a hell of a fight for Speedster. I mean, you know, when you see the championship leader come up, or almost the championship leader come up behind you, one of the fastest guys in the grid come up behind you, and it can be intimidating when you're not one of the top pace guys. Flaky put up a good fight. It was clean, it was tidy, and I think he did a very legal, very decent defence. And down into turn 1, I don't think he was expecting Speedster to go for the move. And then by the time Speedster did, it was too late to defend, because you saw Flaky turn away when you saw Speedster go down the inside. He was going to try and hold it on the outside, but didn't have the same amount of drive. I know Speedster likes to run his car with sort of a softer rear end, so he can just plant that foot and go. But Flaky did a really good job there. I thought he might roll over and just say, "Oh look, man, go past. It's not my fight." But yeah, he fought for that position. He deserves that.
Matter has just taken 0.8 of a second out of Sinclair on that lap. Matter is a 1.1 seconds off, and he's closing on Sinclair. I never thought I'd see the day. Matter is outpacing Sinclair now, out on track. 15 minutes to go. They're both around the same engine temp. Matter's running a litre less of fuel. I wonder if it's to do with the fuel. As he goes very wide there, might pick up a penalty. But Sinclair 1.2 seconds ahead. Matter, though, just looks like he's came into this race, to be honest. He's so much quicker than Sinclair at this point in the race.
He is, and he's taken up a couple of laps to really find this pace. We've had glimmers of it, and then he's made a mistake or two, but it looks like Darren's still at his regular pace, sort of mid-50s. He's not struggling or anything at the moment. I thought he might have dropped pace, but Matt's just tuned up the work, and now he will be getting a distant tow as well on the straights. Now, but unfortunately at the same time, he will fall into dirty air. So, does he have, this is the thing, they talk about it in F1, like, you can close up to people, but to pass, you've got to be a certain amount faster. You've got to be sort of another half second faster to pass someone to actually make a move, but closing up just isn't enough. So we'll see, because he's only sort of marginally faster when Darren does a good lap. We'll see if he can stay close enough. But if Darren makes sort of keeps going high 50s, I allow Matt, he's going to take the position sooner or later with 14 minutes to go. He's close enough now to be worrying Darren, but not close enough to make the move as yet. In the next 5 laps or so, if Darren doesn't pick up his pace, we could see an issue. But Matt is a 10th down on his fastest time. We'll see Darren come through now and do his next lap. We'll see what it's like, because the fuel numbers are very similar, but Matt's actually running less fuel. He's always running wide there, actually. Matt's running less fuel at the moment than Darren. Darren is saving, but is Darren over-saving, let's say? He's done they've both done 40, high 49, so Darren actually had some in reserve. I didn't know if he did. But let's say, has he let that, has he put that out too late? You know what I mean? Should he have done it earlier on? and kept that gap higher so Matt didn't have a sniff at the win? Or has he baited Matt into using more fuel, using more of his tyres, and then going, do you know what, I'm going to turn it on now and pull away from you while you sit in my dirty air? It's all down to driver preference and what they like. I prefer having a larger gap, so I'll put in some good times, and that'll say to someone, hey, look, it's not worth catching him. I prefer having a bigger gap, but Darren maybe has sucked ILR Matt in and said, hey, look, come and get me, and then pulled the bait out just before he's gone and got it, and gone, you know what, I'm going to take off now, and you can have some dirty air, and I'll have my extra fuel to boot.
I think if anybody's been watching the timing screens on the left-hand side, they would have seen this gap being very sterile towards the lead of the race, because we haven't covered this battle at all until the last few laps or so. Sinclair, 1.1 seconds. Again, I would argue the point that it is now going sterile again, because Mata is just not gaining on the back of Sinclair, but it's 1.2 seconds. That's enough to gain a faint tow, but that is also enough, possibly, to try and force the driver into a mistake, either in front or behind. So Matt is just showing glimpses to go into the 9/10ths away from Sinclair, but again, just comes out. He's dead on a second now.
Yes, so yeah, he's enough to bother him. Now, what you know, kind of idiot drivers do is they just flash and flash and flash, and they try and get someone to do that. You know, real like toxic drivers like Racing at Home, they just flash until the guy moves out the way. But Matt's not going to do that. He's going to try and race him on pure pace, which we know Racing at Home can't win a race that way. So we're going to see a good battle between these two. If Darren can keep his head together, he pull away. But look at that, he's slower again over the lap. So 3/10 isn't enough to catch and pass someone, but we've heen Matt pull out low 49s more consistently, high 49s, sorry, more consistently than Darren. I don't know where Matt's come from. He's got a fantastic setup. He's obviously put some decent amount of time in working for this race, and we'll see where it ends up. It's going to be a fascinating battle. But if they do really get into it, Andy will start to close up, because that gap to Matt is still around 10 seconds. So Andy's actually taking the decision to say, look, I'm going to try and keep my gaps pretty stagnant. Yeah, he has run wide, but people seem to be doing that and getting away with it. Speedster said he can do that and get away with it, but some people are getting away with it, some people aren't. I'm not really sure what the technique is there. I never managed to do it. I'm sure Racing at Home managed it, though. If we look here, the gap between Andy and Matt is 10 seconds. So Matt is pushing now because he knows there's that gap behind he won't need to defend from Andy. But if they really get into it sort of the way Nissim and Andy did, then there's going to be issues where Andy's going to close up. But at the moment, Andy's, I think, looked at it and gone, do you know what, it's too big of a gap, I'll stick with P3. And, you know, but what does he close up now and try and help out his teammate? This is the thing, if he closes up and takes pressure off Darren, then, you know, the team could get a win, because Andy and Darren are teammates. So it's these choices you've got to make. Does Andy push and possibly make a mistake, use more fuel, or not? But Matt is really on this now. He's not letting this go.
He's just...
That's the race win right ahead of him. He's really pushing for it. He wants that. That'll be his first race win in the top tier here. He had a couple in Tier 2 GT3 last season, but I think...
Oh, Sinclair's gone deep! Sinclair's gone off into the chicane, he's made a mistake! Well. Unbelievable, he's buckled under the pressure, I think. That's what we can say, he's buckled under the pressure. Sinclair just misjudging his braking, but to be honest, I saw it from the cockpit cam. I knew he was going to go over the curb, and Mata now has got the biggest chance of him to get a race victory here in CRC. This is his opportunity. Take it by the scruff of the neck. He's going to try and go around the outside through turn 1, but he's not going to be quite close enough to the back. But a battle for the lead of the race. 10 minutes to go. This is what we want to see. And Andy's catching as well. It's 9 seconds the gap.
It is. Andy's gained a second in that last lap. I don't know. Yeah, Darren Sinclair just made that mistake that perhaps the brake bias is too far back, but Matt's got to run here. Will he make a move into this corner?
No.
He might. He's thinking about it. No, he won't. That is a possible move. We saw Fernando Alonso go around the outside there back in 07, but in these cars, with the lag that's around in this game, probably not worth trying. At this point, no. They're just going to try and fight until whoever runs out of fuel first, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It seems that Matt does have more pace.
He's gone wide again.
As I said, Darren is starting to buckle under the pressure here. Darren needs to take a brief breath, cool down, and actually control this race, and do what Racing at Home was doing earlier to a very good extent. Of slowing the car down where he can in like sector 2 and sector 1, and then absolutely hammering it in sector 3 to make sure he has enough distance.
Oh, Sinclair! What on earth has happened to Sinclair? Has he got caught on the white light? Did he get caught on the curb? I'm not sure what on earth happened there.
That's
Sinclair. He hasn't gone into the wall or anything. Oh my goodness me!
He has. He's lost the light, mate. He's out.
Oh yeah, he has.
And if his engine damage, if he's got radiator damage, look at the temperature already going up, right? this could be disaster for him. He might not finish the race with the fuel that he's got. What happened there? Like, he was straight.
That's so strange.
When I saw, he was straight. He just braked, and that was it. He was fired into the wall. I've never seen that. Ever. And if anything, it was just slightly before the braking zone.
Do you know what it could be? Controller or wheel disconnecting, perhaps?
But he couldn't have reconnected it that fast.
He couldn't have. And now Andy's right on the back, and I think he's going to let him through. I think Andy's going to go clean sailing on his teammate here.
Yes,
he is.
He is. I thought he was just going to heavy defend that, but no, there is clearly they can understand what's going on. But Darren's just going to try and finish this race.
Oh,
now.
what's happened in this sim? Oh, he's disconnected. Has he disconnected? Has he run out of fuel?
Well, he hasn't got any fuel there.
Oh, he's disconnecting. I think he's disconnecting his Nissim, which is unfortunate if that is the case.
Who's close now? If Racing at Home's gone, I don't know.
I don't know. He's completely stuck out on track. Nissim is lagged back in, and there's Professional ahead. And this is a real bad desync going on here for Nissim. It's everyone else is fine. Everyone else is fine. It's just Nissim. So Nissim is
probably still driving on his screen.
I wonder if we've got a British lobby host with an American connection with Nissim, obviously. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not sure, though. It's so strange.
Nissim's Bosnian, I think.
He is Bosnian, sorry. Goodness me. I'm making a mincemeat out of his nationality there. He's back in 5th, and there he is. He's running fine now.
Well, in all of this, we've actually not congratulated Matt on taking the lead and running away with it.
Yeah, Matt, 8.2 seconds clear. Whatever happened to Darren, probably a fate of God, is what I'm going to say. I cannot explain what we saw there. I don't even know what happened there.
And I can't even blame Racing at Home because he's not here.
He is in the comments section. He has probably been commenting. Professional, by the way, gonna go try and go around the outside of Nissim here. Nissim, I think, might be having a let through slightly. Yeah, Professional through, and he's up into 5th. Professional, I've been really impressed with him, though. He hasn't had the pace tonight, obviously, but he has got the move done. And Nissim, has he got a problem? He's just dropped off really, 2 seconds there to Professional in the space of a corner.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something wrong here with whatever's going on with Nissim setup, because sort of after the first quarter of the race, he just started dropping the car. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. What's the issue?
Andy is absolutely flying. That's the issue. 7.6 seconds the gap. That gap was 8.2 the last time I looked.
It's not long enough.
And the gap is coming down.
Yeah, the race isn't long enough for him to catch up, though. He could worry Matt into a mistake, but I think Matt's got it under control. He hasn't made a mistake all race. I'm just having a message from Racing at Home, and he said, I'm too much of a wimp. Darren was the better driver, so I left and let him pass and left the lobby. Okay, yeah. I'm not skilled enough to race Bulldog Racing. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, that's obviously what he obviously said, and we'll just take that as fact and gospel.
Let's have a look. Nobody wants a Bulldog Racing team win, is what he said in the comment section. Hashtag we believe in Matt. Yes, we believe in Andy, to be honest. Have you seen the gap at 6.4 seconds? Andy is absolutely flying out on track. I'm not exaggerating this gap at all. Andy is charging. He is charging, and Matter, I think, might be 4.5 minutes, 6 seconds the gap, and the gap is closing severely. This is going to be quite interesting. If Andy keeps up this pace, he's going to be right on top of him in the last lap. I guarantee you that now.
But then Darren is going to fall behind Car Mentalist, I think, at some point. He's going to fall behind 007, but he will fall behind Car Mentalist. He's going to lose that place. He's probably got quite severe suspension damage. He will have radiator damage, which means he'll be using more fuel as well. Unfortunately, it's just gone from 0 to 0 for Darren, and we can't really work out why. I mean, Racing at Home could still be here taking people out. We don't really know. It's just kind of the way he works. But we'll see. We'll see what happens post-race. Hopefully we'll see Darren's footage. And if Racing at Home isn't in it, I will edit it to make sure that he's in it and it's his fault.
Racing at Home saying on Discord, West Ham doing practice last night when some idiot turns up in the party to argue with people. That's great. That's the standards that we clearly want to be setting in CRC. Clearly. Speedster, by the way, on the back of Nissim, and I think he might be related to this. Oh, and Nissim coming across. Goodness me. making 2 moves there. 2 moves too many, I think, to be honest. Emmanuel, by the way, is into the pit. Speedster going to try and dip under, go for the switchback. I tell you what, he's going to get this switchback as well. Speedster around the outside. Oh, nearly turning into him there, to be honest. And Nissim took it off track, and this is getting out of control between these two. They need to curb it, and they need to curb it now. Well,
I don't know. It's quite interesting to watch. We've got Nissim here. He's fallen in other places, and I think he's just finished now. He's not happy. He doesn't want to fall anymore. But Speedster's like, well, I kind of want to be at the front, so you're in my way. You're coming out of the way. It looked like Nissim was closing the door to the pit lane, and Speedster was like, well, I'm going to go down the inside anyway. And Nissim was like, no, you're not. I'm closing the door even more.
He's going to be late on the brakes here. You watch.
Yes,
he's going to be late on the brakes.
You're so right.
Nissim moves across, and inevitably...
he's lifted off. Fair play to Speedster. He's lifted off and let Nissim go again because, that move was never on, to be fair. But you did call it straight away. When Nissim was brake late enough, that'll be a slowdown, I think.
Who's that behind? Is that high grade?
Top of the hill? Yeah, I think it is. Top of the hill here. Will he go around the outside? No, he's going to duck back down the inside. He's going to do the crisscross. He's going to try and perhaps... No, he's going to maybe cut down.
Wait for the straight. Oh, no, run the outside and Nissim. Top of the hill. No way!
There's more contact.
Oh, there's contact, and yeah, that's definitely not what we'd like to see. We'll focus on Andy though. 3.5 seconds the gap. The Scotsman really closing in on ILRT Matter. I did say this gap could come down to the final lap of the race. We will get one more lap after this. Andy is charging out on track. He is absolutely flying. And Matter, 52.5? Is he taking it too easy? Or is he fuel saving?
Fuel saving, probably. Yeah, look at his throttle percentage. He's not even full throttle.
Oh, please wait. I want him to wait up for a final lap battle. Is that too much to ask for?
I think we've got 2 laps left, right? We've got this one and the next one.
We have, yeah.
If we've got 3 laps, then Matt will be able to be struggling with 2 laps. I don't think Andy's going to get there. I think Andy's a very, very good driver, but I think Matt has got a tendency to... Things with Fuel and Matt don't mix, right? He either gets it wrong and runs out, or he gets it too right, let's say, and over fuel. So he lost Indy because he over fuel saved. He had fuel crossing the line and racing the whole time did perfectly.
Look at the gap.
Hacking the lobby or not, I'm not sure. But he crossed the line on 0.0, whether it was fraudulent or not. I mean, make your own mind up. But Matt saved too much fuel and actually ended the race having gifted the race to Racing at Home because, gifting the race to Racing at Home, so can't win them himself. Gave the race to him, crossed the line, and he actually lost the Indy 250 because of that. So is Matt overdoing it? I think he's probably going to save enough until he's
turned it up now
for the last lap, and then he's going to go. I think he has. He's certain now. He's full throttle now, so he's not saving anymore.
Let's see what he's going to do. I think he's just been waiting for Andy to try and get back at him. This might be a mental game, possibly for Matter.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there'll be a wider problem, I think, in terms of Matter's car. But Matter now really beginning to turn up the wick once again. A 53.2 last time around. Andy with a 150.2, so 3 seconds quicker, Andy, that last time around. I did say it could come down to the final lap of the battle, and I wasn't wrong as well. Commenceless, by the way, is through on Darren. So Commenceless through on Darren up to P3. He goes. Nissim has gone off track down the field, flicking now up to 7th, but the less we say about that, the better. But Matter leads the way, 1.5 seconds. I think, to be honest, we got a bit overexcited for nothing. He's now controlling the race absolutely perfectly out on track, and Andy's got no chance to catch up.
He's made sure that he had enough fuel for that final lap, and then he's just going to fly on that final lap. So, again, he's controlled the race a different way to everyone else. He's done it the way he wants to do it, and that's what he's done. And this is the final lap now, and he's not going to be close enough. Neither of them have penalties. And what a race it could have been for Bulldog Racing. They could have had a 1-3 either way. They could have possibly had a 1-2 if Darren was able to make it way through the pack and Andy was kept down in front. We saw the contact between Speedster and Andy, which will no doubt go to the stewards. The ILR boys have kept their nose clean, kept pounding away, and they're going to get a good result from the team here. Whereas Bulldog are going to get a 2-4, I should say, with the strange contact we saw from Darren. But I'll give it to you, James, to finish the race.
Yeah, Matter 1 second clear of Andy as we come around the final corner on lap 1:34 this will be as they come across the line. Mata ran the final corner. It's his first win in CRC LMP3. Mata has taken the line to win by only a second in the end. Andy is finished in second. Great comeback drive by Andy in second position. Commensalist on his debut is going to finish in third. Darren, of course, unfortunate with that. Whatever happened to Darren, I think, to be honest, it might have been a controller or a wheel or something disconnecting, but how on earth he got that back quite quick is beyond me. But Commensalist is through across the line to finish in third. Sinclair, the most unfortunate driver out on track, in fourth here tonight. Professionals did well on his reserve role, finishing in fifth position, and also Commensalist finishing third. So big points haul for the team there. Speedster with a light missing and looks like slight suspension damage coming up the hill. He's going to finish in P6 out on track, but to be honest, the contact with Nissim, really the wrongdoing, and I think it just brings a little bit of salt into the wounds, I think, for both of them going forward, and I'm sure the stewards will have a look. I'm certain at least one of them will get a penalty.
Gone from bad to worse. The Speedster lost his head towards the end, and unfortunately a race win with Harry not here. You know, that's gone down the drain. He could have walked this.
And actually, Flaky's jumped in up to sixth. Speedster had penalties. So Flaky up to sixth, Speedster seventh.
Very good job by him. And Nissim coming round, what could have been for him as well? Second or third place. He was on.
Nearly ran out of fuel.
Before he's got the damage, he was falling down the race. Is that Bart without fuel there?
Yeah,
Bart crossed the line?
No, Bart has crossed the line. Yeah, Bart crossed the line. Finished in 11th. And High Grade is off through P10. It's just a manual we're waiting for. So Manuel coming across the line. Professional, by the way, has left the session, but will still be counted in fifth position. So Manuel across the line. There's his car, just going through camera shot there. But Mata, 1.1 seconds in the end of victory. Andy was quicker than Mata by only a tenth and a half of a second overall in terms of pace. So Andy finishing in second. Great recovery drive from him. And it is, I do believe, an all-British 1-2-3 for the first time this season. Mata taking it. Andy second. Commensalist on the podium in third. Sinclair in fourth. Flaky fifth. Speedster in sixth with 4 seconds worth of penalties. That's why Flaky's up to fifth. Nissim finishing in seventh. Again, a little bit of salt into the wounds between them two. Emmanuel in eighth position with 12 seconds worth of penalties. High Grade finished in ninth. Bart finished in 10th. Well done, by the way, to High Grade and Bart. They had contact and they had their own individual moments out on track, but they continued on and they've picked up points as a result, which I think is it's brilliant stuff. I think, obviously, continue on, you get points. It's as simple as that. An hour race can be quite strenuous and an hour race can be quite mentally draining as well, but as long as drivers stay in the session and as long as drivers stay in the race, you never know what could happen. Let's get everyone in.
So, you know, if you stick around, you are almost guaranteed to get points. So, you know, it's an incentive to stay in. Darren Sinclair saying his wheel glitched. Oh,
said it was a wheel of a controller.
You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. And that's just so bad. It just turned full lock left.
Wow. Well, these things do happen. It's sim racing at the end of the day. These things can happen in real life as well. And unfortunate for Sinclair, he was in such a controlled position, I think, out in front as well. He will look back on this race and thinking what it could have been for him. But we have got our third place driver joining us in the commentary box. And we've also got our race winner. Who do I go for first? Let's have a pick. Let's go for Mata. Why not? Mata, good evening, first of all.
Good evening, James. How are you?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
Sort of shitting myself at the end, or booing myself at the end. I think I didn't have enough fuel, but no. Once it said 1 lap to go, I was like, put it in reach, just go.
You had more than enough fuel. I think you came across the line with about 3 litres extra than Andy at the end, so not too bad. But talk us through that race, because that was topsy-turvy if I've ever seen a race.
Yeah, I was surprised by qualifying actually. I got 5th, I don't know how that happened. Yeah, and then just kept it clean at the start. And yeah, just people just ahead just seemed to fall apart. Obviously, Speedster crashed with Andy, as he obviously just joined the party, which is obviously hard luck. Yeah, and obviously moved up to 4th. I kept on the back of Nissim. He made a few errors. but I was confident that it would catch up to Darren and racing obviously Jake. So I didn't stay behind. Well, I stayed behind him just because of that reason, because we didn't want to lose time. And then obviously he made a mistake again, so I obviously got past him, and then caught up to Darren and Jake, and then Jake obviously unfortunately disconnected due to something in the party.
What happened in the party exactly? I'm very conscious and very curious.
Something due to a little incident between Spencer and all that lot.
Oh.
So yes. So we'll see how that one turns out. But yeah, and then I knew I had the pace on Darren. Obviously at Daytona I thought I had better pace. Obviously I just kept on spinning. Obviously at Daytona, so that was unfortunate. But obviously, you know, we were trading out lap times. And as I was getting in with that 1 second gap, always unfortunately got to slow down. So I was like, oh no. So yeah, I kept on bottling it. But yeah, I closed in at the end, just pushed. And then yeah, which is a really hard look on him. He just, yeah, I think his wheel just broke or something happened, and he just went turned left. But it would have been a good battle at the end. Yeah, and obviously GG Andy for keeping me on my toes at the end as well. And obviously hard luck. Obviously with the speedster incident at the start, but yeah, and GG to Car Mentalist as well on his what was it, first podium in LMP3, and he hasn't driven these cars before, so fair play.
Unbelievable result for you, Matter, and obviously it got quite close towards the end. At any point did you feel that Andy would get you in that final couple of laps?
I thought he would do, and then when obviously the engineer said, oh yeah, you got 1 lap to go, and I had like 4 litres left, I was like, right, okay, yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, and then that was it really. But yeah, he was just closing in, and I think I was just pushed a bit too hard, catching up to Darren, to try and close in and try and force him into an error that cost me a bit, so I had to save for a few laps. But yeah, no, yeah, he kept me on my toes, kept me sweating.
Ash, any questions?
Just congratulations, Matt. I think you've done a fantastic job. Both the ILRT guys kept their nose clean, were really consistent throughout the race, and it seems that not only did you have a good setup, you had a good head on your shoulders, and just managed to pick your way through the field and do a really consistent race, and that consistency pays, especially on a track like this. Other people falling by the wayside, and you made it work, and I think it's thoroughly deserved.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, not going into this, it's, you know, it's not what you expect, but you know, you gotta take it, you know, when it happens. So yeah, thanks for that.
No worries, bro. You did a fantastic job. No, I haven't got any questions. I was just, I just think you did a fantastic job. That's all. And you managed to keep your head cool, dodge everything that was going on. And yeah, I mean, you look back at it and say you got fortunate with Jake disconnecting and then Darren having his issues. But you know, you've been on the other end of bad fortune as well. So it all goes around either way. So you've taken your luck from perhaps running out fuel in the GT3 days or having lag incidents or whatever. You know, you've taken the good luck today, but at the same time, you have to be there to take that. So, you know what I mean? You've earned it.
Yeah, well, thank you.
No worries, bro.
One final question for me. Obviously, we've got Bernal next week. It's going to be a changeable race. It's going to be heavy cloud to light cloud for all 4 weather slots. How do you approach that race? And inevitably, how's your chances going into there?
I think it's the same chances as any race, isn't it, really? You don't know until you actually go racing. Yeah, like, if the setup's good and I feel confident, then anything can happen. And obviously, what happened with the guys today, you know, it may not happen next week, you know, it may happen in the future, but, you know, just gotta keep going and, yeah, see what happens, really.
This is your week. I will let you go and celebrate. Thank you very much, Matter.
Thank you.
And I do believe, 2nd position, a fantastic recovery drive from his earlier incident. It is Andy. Andy, are you there?
Can you hear me this week?
I can hear you this week.
Yes.
Woohoo! That was a good start.
It's a better start. Obviously, going from this race, obviously that earlier contact set you back, but talk us through your race in general, because it was a fantastic recovery drive, first and foremost.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, I'm getting sick of recovery drives, but hey ho, at least I'm good at them. I got a great start. I mean, just after jumping the start last week was, you know, it was great to get a good one. And then obviously, side by side with Speedster, I just lost it on the curb. There was no contact.
I
on
take
my
it back.
side.
Then. That's like, I better eat my words, because I said he took you out, because it looks like on our screen, that he's sort of on your inside and just turns you. But if you've lost it on the curve, then I take it back.
Yeah, I had absolutely no damage on the car at all. There was nothing, suspension, wings, anything at all. I got a bit loose in the curb. It maybe then meant he caught me slightly, but I lost a bit of control. So it's unfortunate because we were having a good battle there. It could have been quite an enjoyable race-long thing, but for me it was racing instant, just wrong place, wrong time, just didn't quite catch it. It was good hard racing up to that point, and then just tried to get my head down and be consistent from that point on. I've seen obviously, I think it was Speedster, Xander and someone else, something happened. Not sure what went on there, I'll need to watch it back, but after that it was just trying to be consistent. I thought I was going to get Matt at the end there because I was closing in really quickly. I thought he was struggling for fuel. But one more lap, I think it would have been very interesting. But he drove a consistent race. I feel really bad for Darren though. He's deserved, wheel disconnected, and he drove a great race. Such a shame, but pleased with P2, more solid points at least.
I totally understand that, because you were doing a fantastic job, and they're like, oh, Andy's in P3, and I was like, 10-second gap, he'd probably chill. And Matt started dropping time, and you started putting in those faster and faster laps, and James was like, this is on. I was like, no, it's not. And this is on, and then suddenly you were there, and Matt really had to start saving fuel. I think you both did a good job. If anything, Matt over-conserved. But yeah, I did say that when we had about 2 minutes to go, I said, if we had another lap or two, he'd be in real trouble, and that's all he needed. But at the same time, I think it's a really good job to get where you did. And yeah, touching on Darren, for your team, I mean, it's a rubbish result. It's happened to me. I say Darren was lucky to sort of get back going again and finish the race, because when it's happened to me, I've been kicked from the session. So, really, really unfortunate there. It happened to all of us. But to be so close and then have it happen, it's rough. But you and Speedster have had that battle for quite a while going on up front, and even if he had pulled away, I think you'd have gone with him. So it's a race of if, whats, and maybes. But at the end, it turned out all right, and at least you managed to get back up where you finished. I think you should be really proud of that.
Yeah, no, pretty chuffed with that side of things. Keeping going. It was good to see Darren was able to finish, even though he had the damage in the car, to get solid points again in P4. So it's really going to help the teams. It's going to help us both in the drivers as well. Obviously, H Racing Green wasn't here. Speedster finished in P6, so that's going to really close things up at the top end of the drivers as well. And I'm looking forward to next week at Brno. I've not tried the car around there yet, but it's a track I quite like, so I'm hopefully another decent result next week. Absolutely,
yeah, and hopefully this can buoy your confidence a little bit, going further into the season, where you can see, hey, look, I can get turned and still finish there, and Darren can say, oh damn, I crashed into the wall and I can still finish fourth. So it should do wonders for your confidence going in, especially for all the drivers. I suppose all the drivers on the podium this evening, it's going to boost their confidence, and we need that. We need that to have that big fight up front and to take points off each other, because that's going to result in an interesting season.
Yeah, definitely so, and there's a lot of good drivers here, so the rest of the season should be really enjoyable, I think.
Sweet. Well done this evening, Andy. I haven't got any more questions, James, if you have any.
I don't either. Andy, go and enjoy your night. I will see you next week for Brno.
No worries, thanks very much, guys. Great stuff again. I'll enjoy watching it back. Well done, Matt, and well done, Aidan, as well in the P3 and a reserve drive. Great stuff from both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Thank you, Andy. And in third position, it's like we've never been apart this week. He joined me on Tuesday in TTL, I was going to say TTL F2 there, the TTL Classic Series that we finished, of course, in Belgium, Mr. Aidan Carter.
Hi James, how are you?
I'm doing really well, how are you? Reserve for third place? Come on.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say after that one. I'm kind of in a bit of shock after that race, if I'm honest. I mean, I got a message off of Alan to join the race at 7:59, so to be on the podium at the end of it is really crazy.
Well, talk us through your race, because a lot happened in front of you, and we were saying in the commentary box how impressed we were with you being on the pace, and honestly, fantastic to watch. But talk us through what happened there out on track.
Yeah, well, I think qualifying, I probably could have qualified better than I did. It's just that I just used the qualifying session basically as a practice session and just went out and did laps and just got used to the car. Because obviously the race is where it's won or lost. Shout out to Emmanuel, thank you for him for giving me his setup. I've never driven an LMP3 car before this game, so I needed all the help I could get, so thank you to Emmanuel for that one. But yeah, in the race, I got off to a relatively decent start. I just kind of kept it clean and kept out of trouble, and then I made a couple of overtakes and things and just kind of drove my own race. My goal was to just get to the end of the race without making any mistakes, really. I made one mistake with in a battle with Nissim earlier on in the race, but it wasn't really anything I couldn't come back from. So, yeah, I just spent the entire race kind of running around doing my own thing and just trying to keep it as consistent as possible. And then with Darren, it's such a shame for Darren. Darren was having a brilliant race up to that point. It's a shame that he had that happened to him, but good for me in a sense because it gave me a podium, so I will take that one. And yeah, just kind of the last half of the race was more managing fuel because I kind of burned through my fuel pretty quickly in the first half of the race, so I just spent the last half of the race managing it, really.
Yeah, it looked like the engine temps were quite high, and that doesn't help the fuel use as well. But it looked like you were just taking every lap as it came, just not overstepping the mark, just building it up through quali, and then in the race, I even said on comms, it was like, well, he might be a bit slow now, but because he's so consistent in the race, we may see him finish much, much further up. And so it worked out. I mean, yeah, he got lucky with Racing at Home's issues, and then Darren's issues. But as I said to Andy, you've got to be there for that to happen, and to Matt, you've got to be there for that to happen. So you did a really clean race, came out fighting, and I think as a reserve drive with such little practice, and Alan doing things last minute. God, who'd have thought? I think that was just a fantastic job, and you can really look back on that one and be proud.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm kind of shocked to that one. I want to thank Alan as well for actually inviting me to the session. I wasn't sold on the idea the minute he messaged me, but I thought I may as well do it. I may as well try it. But yeah, thank you to Alan for sending me a message. It was a lot of fun, and I think Nurburgring as well was a good track to kind of learn the skills for the car as well. It's got kind of a lot of everything, really, hasn't it? A lot of low speed and high speed stuff. So it was good to get a feel of the car around Nurburgring. So yeah, very happy I took part.
Yeah, and we'll see. Hopefully, we'll get maybe fix your car to be a bit faster than Racing at Home, so we can start dominating the IndyCar Championship as well.
Please, I need all the help I can get. I'm so done of finishing second to Racing at Home in that championship. I need something to happen for that. I need it to change, because if I finish second to him tomorrow, I'm going to lose my mind.
I think he needs to disconnect more often.
It might happen again tomorrow night, you never know. And to speak about tomorrow night as well, coming into the race tomorrow in the IndyCar Championship, you're 16 points behind Racing at Home, 4 points ahead of our companion in our commentary box, LRT Matter. How are you going to approach that race? Do you want to let us know, or are you not giving anything away?
I'll let you guys. I will. I'm a pretty open book, so I'm probably just gonna. I'm not gonna tell everyone what my strategy is, because that would be stupid. But I can safely say that Long Beach is probably the track when we first got the calendar. I think, James, you introduced me to the IndyCar calendar, didn't you? I think it was a few months ago now. When I read the calendar, that was the track I was most excited for. I absolutely adore street circuits. If CRC could do a championship at some point that's just street circuits, I'm fully down for it. But yeah, street circuits are absolutely my favourite thing, so I've really been looking forward to Long Beach, and I have been practicing like crazy for that race, which is actually what I'm going to be doing straight after this. So I kind of just going to approach that race more of a case of managing it rather than being flat out the whole time, I'd probably say, because it's going to be it's probably going to be the race where you have to manage the most, more than any race we've had so far this season. So that's probably my approach to the race tomorrow.
Sounds good. Yeah, sounds good. Obviously, are we going to see you in Bernal next week as well, I wonder?
Well, I haven't got any racing or commentary duties yet on a Saturday. The season's not started up yet, so I mean, if Alan is willing to send me an invite 1 minute before 8 o'clock on Saturday next week, I'm more than happy to take part.
I think there'll be space available next week, to be honest. I think Sam Hesketh, he didn't appear tonight, so I think he's been kicked due to inactivity, so I'm assuming you would get that seat with Speedster as teammate.
Oh, okay.
see,
Wow,
we'll
that's
see.
sheesh. That's a lot to live up to.
A lot to live up to, and hopefully you're going to be a cleaner driver than him. But that's just my opinion on things. Yeah, just based on the contact that we've seen tonight, obviously.
Yeah.
But the stewards will have a look at that. I'll try and stay unbiased to that. Anyways, it's been a privilege. Thank you very much, Comments List.
Yeah, thank you for commentating, and I'll watch the stream back, and probably be lots of fun to watch back. So thanks, guys, for commentating, and yeah, thank you to everyone for letting me race.
Very welcome. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
That is us over and done with for commentary here tonight in CRC LMP3. Let's reflect on what happened there out on track. Obviously, Mata taking the win, and a fantastic result with Andy finishing in second. Great recovery drive. Commented this on his debut in third. For you, what was your highlight of the race, Ash?
Oh, that's a good question. There were so many good bits. I think it was probably racing at home disconnecting.
How did I have a feeling? I knew possibly you were going to say that, to be honest.
It was good, but yeah, I think it was a really cool race to watch. There was a lot going on, and it's hard to pick an incident more pleasing than that, really.
Well, I've got to be honest, I've got to really compliment Commentalist again on his overtake that he did. I think it was on Nissim earlier on in the race. It was a fantastic move. One of the bravest I've seen through the Nurburgring. Fantastic move. Calm, cool, collected. That's what he wants. And he gets my driver of the day as well.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job. Fantastic
Thanks, James.
job.
I'll pay you later.
Don't pay me at all. I get paid a certain amount of money every month. Yeah. I'm not disclosing that out on stream.
Undisclosed 8-figure salary.
Services.
And it's not for commentary either, if you might be thinking that. It is not for commentary. I don't get paid for it. I do it purely out of my own ability and out of my own pocket. And I'll let you guys in on a secret as well. Well, not so much of a secret. I pre-ordered F1 2020 today. Get in.
Oh no.
Get it. Oh no, what are you on about? Oh no.
I don't know.
I've pre-ordered mine last month, so
I'm not the
Last
biggest
month.
fan. So.
yeah.
You know what, I'm looking forward to what we've got looking forward to on F1 2020. TTML is going to be fantastic to watch. Commentalist obviously going to be commentating on some of the leagues as well, F2, and I know Division 3 will be covered by him just off the top of my head. And I'm going to be part of the furniture, as always, like nowadays on TTTV. You'll be seeing me 3 times a week, just on F1 alone. So yeah. I'm looking forward to it. It should be quite good, and hopefully we get to see the good spectator cam with AWS in. That'd be fantastic to see, like in real life. But as usual, I'm waffling on, so I'll end it here. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Please stay safe. I know the pubs have opened out there. I'm sure these guys will be maybe popping off to the pub after their races tonight. But
I will now.
You will now, yeah. H Green, I feel sorry for. He's having to serve drunkards until 1 o'clock in the morning, probably. That's why I didn't turn up this week. Oh. But on a serious note, please stay safe. Thank you so much for watching CRC LMP3. We will see you next week in Brno. For myself and Ash, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.